challenges and barriers, and then maybe onto the potential support structures in answering the question. So, just first of all, to put a little bit of context on it. 2015, ESFRI created a working group, and it was called an Innovation Working Group. And the principle of it was, we need to try and find ways to have industry engaging far more with research infrastructures. Almost, for use of a better expression, become revenue generating entities. And not dissimilar to what Professor Petito was saying, excellent presentation. Now, has that worked? Arguably 10 years, maybe it takes a bit longer than that. And at least our intervention of trying to get the ESFRIs to incorporate it. We certainly, as part of our review process in ESFRI, and as part of the hearings, one of the key areas is, how are you engaging with industry? What are you doing? We're entering potentially a brand new world over the next decade with this competitiveness compass, potential competitiveness fund, potential remodeling of FP10, call it what you will, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it is, I don't know, maybe that's a good thing. But the important thing is that the rules of the game perhaps are changing. And we need to try and find ways, and the idea of simply saying we need more money as a research infrastructure ain't going to work. So we need to be a little bit more creative. In 2023, as you know, Michael, we had within ESFRI, we had a drafting group on an ESFRI project, particularly landmarks and ERIC's engagement with industry. We had 160, it was open to industry, we had 160 respondents to it. One of the questions was, are there any barriers to engagement with ORIs? And less than 10% said no, there's no barriers. So clearly there's an issue there, and may not come as a surprise. Now, here's something for you. The top 3 reasons, barriers for engagement for industry with the ORI. Number 1, just over half of it, 53% said lack of financing. We don't have the money. Now, arguably, Luigi pointed out, when we talk about industry, we're talking about multinationals, which have plenty of money, and we're talking about SMEs, which oftentimes are starved of cash. So arguably, that's not hugely surprising. A lot of SMEs want to engage with research infrastructures. They simply don't have the funds to be able to do that. Secondly, there was one on ownership and IPR, so intellectual property rights and intellectual property ownership. Not surprising, about 25% of respondents said this is a big issue for us as industry, who owns what? Here's one for you, 49%, half of the respondents said, we don't have the expertise within industry. We don't know how to engage with the research infrastructure. That's the way I'm reading it. We don't know how to engage with the research infrastructure. So, this leads me on, Michael, to a bit of a head scratcher. We need to come up with ways of how we can help the publicly funded research infrastructures to engage better with industry. So here's something. Industry are saying, I want to work with you, but I don't know how to, because I don't know what skills and what services you provide. In the same survey, a vast majority, I think was in the order of about 85% of respondents, said that it was then industry that went to the research infrastructure, opened up the phone book to find out, I wonder which research infrastructure can help me, not knowing what they were looking for perhaps. In other words, there was no action from the side, broadly speaking, no action from the side of the research infrastructure to engage with industry. So herein lies a problem. One of the most common things that I've heard over the last hour is the word human capital. Resourcing, the lack of resourcing. So let me put it to you this way. There is clearly a lack of expertise and understanding from an industry perspective to effectively engage with research infrastructures. So why don't we have supports in place to allow to parachute research infrastructure personnel into industry, to engage, to collaborate at a seed level, at a foundational level? I've said it before, Michael, we have a program already within Europe that is clearly, its job is to do this. It's the Marie Curie program. That's its job, to be able to help the mobilization of researchers across the Union, to engage across various universities, various entities within industry. So that's number one, this idea of trying to get industry fellowships to engage with the industry partner. I think also in 2020, I think it was at the tail end of Horizon 2020, perhaps at the beginning of Horizon Europe, on the Research Infrastructures Programme Committee, and some of this colleagues here in the audience will remember, we brought in a program called the ILO program, which was the Industry Liaisons Officers, where it was effectively funded for the ORIs to engage closer with industry. Now let me rephrase that. We should try and, I suppose, readdress this so that we are helping research infrastructures recruit business development managers. Business development to go out, their sole job is to generate revenue. Their sole job is to raise awareness. Their sole job is to sell their services and their research infrastructure to industry partners, experts coming in. So I think on the support side, there are various things that we can do. We also know, and I'll finish now, in research infrastructures, some research infrastructures are very good at doing